realize that Henson already found it out. You don't have to have money, and you don't have to have prestige, and you don't have to have all these extra things to have a wonderful life. And I have had a wonderful life. And I'm going to make this real brief because I didn't get prepared for it. Started out when I was a kid. I remember my siblings offered me pennies to come in there and do things to make them laugh. Now that was when I was just a kid. I can't even remember the details much, but it started out like that. And I remember when I got into school, the teacher would ask me a lot of times because I had to stay and study, and I don't know whether I had to get lessons at home or whether I had to work. But anyway, she'd say, Dorothy, you going to be in here during this time? And I say, yeah, I'm going to leave my purse here then. So I found out early that ethics makes a lot of difference. And the teacher was always willing to leave her purse in there with me. And later on, let me mention this. This is many years later when Edwin was treasurer of our church in near Dallas. And he would bring the books home to work with him. And I never, ever opened the books to look to see who paid what or anything. It wasn't my business. I didn't care. And I wasn't about to do it. So one night, a man that was in business there, it was Christmas Eve night, and Edwin didn't go to church. He stayed with Greg. And we just took the money home in little bags, then you didn't have to worry about people robbing you. And so I took the money home, put it where I usually put it for Edwin to work with it. Next morning he got it, he said, honey, did you look in that bag? Did you see what so-and-so gave in that offering? I said, no, you know I never look in that. He had given an $8,000 check. And back in those days, that was a big amount of money.
Wow.
But he was a builder, and I suppose he wanted to get everything in that year. But the point I'm making is, back then, we were taught ethics by our father. I remember one time my brother asked him, said, Daddy, do you need that money that I owe you? He said, well, I expect you need to pay it a lot worse than I need it. So we were trained to be very honest, and our parents, taught us that. So anyway, I'm going with my life. Well, anyway, when I was about in 4th grade or somewhere along in there, we had a teacher there that wanted us to, she would charge $4 a year for us to get into some kind of acting or something. And I knew that if I asked Daddy, he'd let me do it, because Daddy always inclined to be that way. And so I didn't even ask him. But I know if she must have seen something in me that I like to do things like that. So even in grammar school, I got to sing in assembly with some young people. And then I got to, I was valedictorian, and the only reason I was valedictorian was because we had a small class. Didn't have much to compete with. So anyway, got this year in college, and when I was in college, well, they kept one of my themes for the archives, the college archives. I sure would like to read it now, see what it sounds like. But anyway, talking about my grammar, we had been taught, and I went to college just a year, and I went to the class of the teacher that was real strict. And we'd been she'd been trying to teach us about the verb to be doesn't take an object. So she asked me something in class, and I said, oh, that's the object of the verb to be. And she picked up a book, and like she's going to throw it at me. And so ever since then, I have remembered that the verb to be doesn't take an object. And I even remember how to conjugate it. Because if you don't know how to conjugate it, you don't know how to use it. But anyway, so that was sort of the life that I grew up. And I had, when I went to college, well, first, when I went to college, yeah, but I don't remember anything much about that. But when we moved to Dallas, we went to the Gospel Lighthouse Church, and it was a big church. The congregation was about 800. I'm talking about during the day, I don't know about 9. But anyway, I got real active and stuff there. And of course, Greg was part of the reason for it, because he was a good kid. I can be so thankful for that. Not only that, Skyline High School was new, and everybody was saying, go to Skyline if you can, and you sort of learn a trade at Skyline. So the other mothers there were a little jealous because they had trouble with their kids about that age. Greg was about 13, I think, somewhere along in there. And, but Greg was a real good student. One time I said to him something about, Greg, if anybody ever offers you a cigarette, so-and-so, Mother, I've been offered cigarettes hundreds of times. Like it was an insult. But they did have him well, first when he went to another school, there were 400 there, I believe. No, not more 400, maybe 4,000. Anyway, one of the other schools. Greg got the honor of winning the Daughters of American Revolution reward. And so everybody wanted to meet us because they thought we'd be something special, because Greg was, the teachers always called him Greg. And he got to show everybody through that Skyline School, because he didn't smoke and he didn't use drugs. And they sent all of the big shots there to see the school. Greg was supposed to meet with the governor, but he had to stay at home, so he got to eat with the lieutenant governor. And then they came out and took his picture one time, and he was in the paper one time for something else, I can't remember. So he made it pretty good. So I said to him, I said, Greg, thank you for helping me be, it was Mother of the Year at the Gospel Lighthouse. I said, Greg, thank you for helping me be Mother of the Year. He said, yeah, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be a mother, would you? That's right. So, anyway, I sort of got into writing things because I liked it. Now, our daddy wrote articles, and they were published in the local paper. I'm sure we had to critique them a little, but anyway, he had some writing talent, apparently. And then there were several of us in the family that have sort of picked up on it. And so when I got to the Gospel Lighthouse, I wrote hundreds. It was a big church, and there were a lot of weddings, and a lot of showers, and a lot of babies and everything. So I wrote plays for them, and then I wrote the invitations. I wish I brought one of them that I wrote for Brother Everett, because he was always saying something like this. He liked to sing. He'd say, Brother so-and-so, would you like to hear me sing a song? And of course the man would say, yeah, I just had a request to sing. So he'd say, and then another thing he'd do, sometimes he'd say, JC, would you like to hear me sing? I just had a request to sing. So I wrote one of my poems that said, A Standing Ovation. And it turned out pretty good. It ended up by a standing ovation. He'd always had that invitation to sing. And his daughter later on wrote me a real nice poem a real nice letter about it. But anyway, I got started doing the Rapture play there, which I had written, and we did it there, and it went over pretty good. So I started taking the Rapture play to different churches, and that's where I felt like I was really doing something for the Lord, because people got saved, and they, like I said, I could always sort of put on a pretty good acting, so I would be the one that was left behind, and I'd get out there and I just begged for another chance, and I'd say, God, if you would just give me one more chance, just one, I had missed the Rapture. And so people, I wouldn't go out front because I didn't want anybody to think I was going out for any kind of recognition. So I'd stay behind the everything, and people would come back there to see me and ask me if we could bring it to their church. And then another thing, well, I've done a few more things that people asked if they could bring it to their church. But anyway, so I took that, I came to the Dallas area and then to Tyler, and I took that Rapture play quite a few places. And because, like I said, it sort of scared people. When they realized that they'd risked the Rapture and there wasn't going to be another chance to get saved, it scared them. And they really come to the altar. I think the first time we did it, I did a lot of work. I took a lot of posters around and everything. And they were still out in the parking lot praying when we got out of church later. So it really could have an effect. Well, another lady up there wanted to know if she could take it and use it down in her area. And I said, sure. What we're trying to do is get people to the Lord. So, and then after that, I started doing the short woman skit. And a few of you know about that. Darlene's mother used to help me when I was in Oklahoma. And incidentally, when I went up to Oklahoma, I started doing the pastor's life in song. And I went to the it's a little town there, Bethany, not Bethany, but the first little town. Can't remember the name. But anyway, well, first I'll tell you about this. When Greg and Darlene got married, we had a shower farm in Dallas where we'd been, and another one farm in Oklahoma City. Well, anyway, now this idea, the idea about the shower was in a book that I had, but not the words. So what you do, and y'all can do it in your church, it's really funny. You have everything set up to start serving, and the hostesses up there, I want to ask one of the mothers to come up, and tell how they met or something. So Geraldine and I both went up, and we had a fuss up there. Geraldine said, well, Dorothy, you don't know these people I talk. I said, certainly I know these people. We used to be up here. I know them. I don't mind talking. And she'd say, well, Dorothy so-and-so. And I'd keep arguing. So finally, they asked somebody back, says, oh, say, one of the hostesses back there behind the table. I said, she asked me to speak, so you sit down. And one of the other hostess says, why was she asking you? I was supposed to be in charge of that. I was the one in charge of that. And they get a big fuss. And then finally, the way it ends up, Greg said something about, Mother, don't you sit down and let Geraldine talk or something. And Darlene says to Greg, they were sitting back there together, Greg, don't talk to your mother like this. And they get a big fuss. Well, I've had better things to use for fusses since then, but we've used it a lot of places.
It really made our pastor very nervous.
It was not
a lot of fun. They didn't know what we were doing.
She made a lot of people nervous. What are you talking about?
They thought you needed to be in counseling before you got married, huh?
Actually, when we got up there, I had people say, Dorothy, we had so much fun when you were up here. You kept us. Darlene's mother said one time, I like to be Dorothy's friend because she keeps me involved in things. But I went to, when I started saying, I even had after one of these things for the pastor, his life in song, I went to the, I can't think of the word I want to use now, but anyway, I got him to sign this thing saying that a certain day was that pastor's day there. And then we had a guy in the church that worked for the radio station, so he put it on at 8 o'clock, and we shut everything down and let everybody listen to him, been nominated Pastor of the Year, you know. But there's so many things you can do like this. You don't have to have a dull life just because you don't have money, you don't have prestige. And if you get involved,